I moved my account from about 0.5% to 6% in profit this week. So on this episode, I took 6 trades, but the third trade and the last trade almost gave me high blood pressure. On Friday evening, I opened a trade on EU. Then on Saturday, I saw a trade on BTC. I entered, but it stopped me out very, very quickly. So I took that loss. Then I still had the EU trade. Getting to Monday, early morning on Monday, I saw that the market actually did what I anticipated it to do, which was for it to drop. EU dropped drastically, putting me into massive profit. That gave me about 2% or 2.5% or thereabout, because I already closed the week on 2%. So that drop gave me about that drop gave me about 2%. Yeah. So after closing my trade on EU, I now saw this setup on the same EU. Now, if you see the after the drop, the market started retracing back. So I felt okay, maybe the market just wanted to fill in the gap, and then the whole thing met my entry criteria as well, and I went down to the 15-minute time frame. After making my analysis, I took the sell. Before we continue, I want to quickly thank my subscribers. So on our last episode that we did, we had about 3 new subscribers. Which brought our total subscribers to 121. So I want to thank the 3 new people that decided to join our journey. Thank you very much, and a very big thank you to all my subscribers, all my returning subscribers that are always supporting this channel. I want to say God bless you. Now, usually if I'm up 2% of my account or more than 2% on my account when I'm trading the evaluation, I used to risk the 2%, right? So if I'm up 3%, I'll risk 2% and then target the remaining amount on my account. So usually I go for 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So if I risk the 2%, I usually target to make 6%, which is 1:3, right? So since I already have 2%, if I win the trade, I'll literally pass my phase 1. So that's how I usually trade my prop firm. That's how I approach my risk management. But if I'm down, or let's say if I'm break even, I risk the normal 0.6% per trade. But once I'm up 2%, I increase my risk to 2%. So this particular trade on this EU, after making my analysis, I entered risking 2% of my account. Reason being that I was already up 2.4% on that account. So I was hoping that this trade was going to actually pass this account for me if it goes my direction. So this EU trade quickly tapped me in and then immediately went to my direction, and then the next thing it went deep into my SL, like remaining 3 to 4 pips for it to actually stop me out, because I'm actually using 13 pips stop loss for this particular trade. So the trade went to like 10 pips into my SL, sometimes 11, sometimes 12. It's just like there was a very tiny space between my SL and the particular place price was. So but I just decided within myself that okay, since I'm into this trade, I'm not going to actually close until I actually see if it will give me a profit or if it's going to stop me out for a loss. Because like I said, this trade is what I thought was going to help me pass the account if it goes well. So if it doesn't go well, I have nothing to lose, since I've already risked my 2% already, and the risk is already determined for the trade. So I felt okay, if this is going to work, it's going to work. If it's not going to work, then we're just going to move on. Then not too long, I got stopped out on the trade. It's not actually stopped out, I entered that trade in the morning. So later in the evening time, around market close, there was a lot of spread, so I just had to manually close that trade. but the trade later went and it didn't actually go to my stop loss. It actually came back down to my profit, my take profit. That if I didn't close the trade, I would have actually passed my accounts with that particular trade. But I closed the trade due to spread. And you guys know how rollover spread used to be. It used to really widen during market close. So I just decided to, like, okay, not to take that particular loss on that trade. But it actually ended me in loss here, a loss of about $95 per. Yeah, 95. Is it 95? Yeah, $95 actually ended me in loss of about $180 or thereabout. So I didn't take the complete $200 loss. I actually lost 180 to that particular trade. Then immediately I lost the trade. I entered a trade on gold, which also stopped me out very, very quickly. I didn't even get to, like, set my trading view very well, and the trade just automatically stopped me out. So after that, I entered a trade on gold again. I waited for a re-entry and then I took a trade on gold again. This time it was already almost market close, so I just took the trade, hoping that the trade is going to actually play well, because the next day was CPI, which is on Tuesday. The next day was supposed to be CPI, and I thought, okay, this trade, if it goes well during CPI, because I was expecting gold to actually drop during CPI news. So I entered my second position after verifying everything technically. I just entered the position, and then, as expected, the market went my direction, and I closed my trading view and went to bed. Waking up the next morning, I saw that the market has actually gone really, really down. I was expecting to make 1:3, but I woke up to find out that the market have already given me 1:5, and I closed out. That brought my total balance to about roughly 4% or thereabout. So like I said, that day, which was on Tuesday, was supposed to be NFP. So I wasn't in a mood or in a rush to enter any trade, because the news usually used to be very, very volatile, and it used to actually change market direction. So I was waiting for the NFP to be over before I can actually decide on which trade to take and which direction to actually follow. So fast forward to after NFP, during the evening time, I saw this particular trade on euro dollar. Remember, I already said that was I'm up 2%, I risk 2%. Yeah, so was I'm up more than 2% on my account, I risk 2%, and then hope to pass the account. So on this particular one, I was already up about roughly 4%. So I just decided to, okay, let me risk the 2% on this particular EU trade that I saw. So I entered using two standard log, one each for the trade. So the trade started going against me for a while. As markets usually plays out now. So the trade started going against me for a while, and then after a little while, it now pushed above towards my TP area. So when the market pushed towards my TP area, I was really happy, hoping to pass the account, because I just needed 2R, which is about roughly $400. My target is $800. I already have about $390, so I was just hoping to make about 410 or 420 thereabout. So it was basically 2R I was hoping to make on this particular trade, not 3R again, just 2R trade, and I'll be fine. So the market went up and then started playing around. Stop loss, you just go in my profit and then come back in loss, go in profit and come back in loss. Or eventually the market pushed up to about 1 hour. So when I saw that the market was up about 1 hour, I was like, okay, maybe it's time to close, because it was almost market close for the day. So I decided to like close this trade for 1 hour. That brought my total balance to 6%. Kindly subscribe, like, share, and God bless you. Have a nice